In 1845, two of the most advanced ships on Earth sailed into the Arctic with 129 men on board. Every single one of them died. Not one body was properly identified for over 150 years. Not one ship was found for 169 years. And what the search parties eventually discovered was worse than anyone expected. This is the story of the Franklin expedition, and why, to this day, we still don't know exactly how they died. May 19th, 1845. Two ships leave England, HMS Erebus and HMS Terror. Their mission: find the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic connecting the Atlantic to the Pacific. Britain had been trying to find it for over 300 years. These weren't ordinary ships. They had reinforced iron hulls, steam engines repurposed from railway locomotives, central heating, a library of over 1,000 books each. They were, by 1845 standards, unsinkable. They were spotted one last time by a whaling ship in Baffin Bay in late July 1845. After that, nothing. The ships carried 129 men in total: officers, sailors, engineers, even a small number of Royal Marines. Provisions were stocked for 3 full years: preserved meat, biscuit, flour, and over 8,000 tins of food, sealed using a technique still new and untested at the time. Commanding the expedition was Sir John Franklin, 59 years old, already a celebrated Arctic explorer, and not the Admiralty's first choice for the job. 2 other officers had turned it down before him. Franklin took the post anyway, confident this would be his final, crowning achievement. He would never see England again. No word for a year. Ships carried 3 years of food, so nobody panicked yet. 2 years, still nothing. By 1848, Britain launched the largest search and rescue operation in history up to that point. Over the next decade, more than 30 expeditions went looking. Search parties combed thousands of miles of Arctic coastline. They found almost nothing. A few abandoned supply caches, some scattered graves, and in 1859, finally, a single handwritten note found stuffed inside a stone cairn on King William Island. That note is the last confirmed communication from anyone on the expedition, and what it said made the mystery even darker. The note had 2 messages, written a year apart, in the margins of the same page. The first, from 1847, said simply, "All is well." The second, added in April 1848, told a very different story. Sir John Franklin, the expedition's commander, was dead. 9 officers and 15 crew had already died. The ships had been trapped in ice for over a year and a half. The 105 survivors were abandoning ship on foot, trying to walk over 250 miles to the nearest trading post. None of them made it. For over a century, that's where the story stopped. A note, a few graves, and silence. So what actually killed them? For decades, the leading theory was lead poisoning from badly soldered tin cans, a new technology at the time. Some historians pointed to elevated lead levels found in the preserved bodies of crew members buried early in the voyage. But there was another clue. one the British largely ignored for over a century. Local Inuit hunters told search parties as early as the 1850s that they'd encountered a group of starving white men dragging a lifeboat across the ice, and that some of the corpses later found showed clear signs of cannibalism. British authorities dismissed these accounts outright, considered them impossible for British gentlemen. Modern forensic analysis of recovered bones has confirmed the Inuit were right all along. Cut marks, bones deliberately broken open for marrow. The starvation had gotten that bad. Lead poisoning wasn't the only theory pointing to those tins. Some researchers believe the soldering process may have also allowed bacterial contamination, leading to botulism, a severe and often fatal form of food poisoning. Combined with scurvy, a disease caused by vitamin C deficiency that was still poorly understood in the 1840s, the crew may have been fighting multiple compounding illnesses at once, long before starvation and the brutal cold ever became a factor. In other words, the ice may not have been the expedition's first enemy. Their own supplies might have turned against them before they even realized it. For 169 years, the ships themselves stayed missing. Then, in September 2014, using clues pulled directly from Inuit oral histories that had been dismissed for over a century, a Canadian search team found HMS Erebus sitting almost perfectly preserved on the sea floor. 2 years later, in 2016, HMS Terror was found too, over 60 miles away in a bay the Inuit had specifically named in their oral traditions, a bay British searchers had never even looked in. Divers found dishes still stacked in cabinets, windows still intact, a ship frozen in time, sealed in cold water for a century and a half. But here's what nobody expected. Terror's positioning suggests it wasn't crushed by ice and abandoned like historians assumed. Someone may have deliberately, carefully anchored it, long after the note said everyone was walking south on foot. Which means the timeline we thought we understood might be wrong. Did some crew members go back to the ships? Did they try to resail one of them south? We still don't fully know. Of the 129 men who sailed in 1845, only a small number of skeletal remains have ever been positively identified. Even with modern DNA testing, most of the crew are still technically missing. 2 ships, 129 men, the most advanced expedition of its time. And still, nearly 200 years later, we don't have the full story. If you want to see the next mystery history refuses to fully explain, subscribe, because this is far from the strangest one we're covering.